You call yourself a man? You know you're a lying, low-life, motherfucking gambling degenerate prick. You know that's what you are?
Well, hello, you degenerate fucks, and welcome to the Degenerate Gambler. It is Thursday, the 13th of October. Just back with our regular episode. Looking back at last week, looking ahead to this week with my bets. I'll say first of all, last week was one of those frustrating weeks. My bet on Saturday was very close. Bet on Sunday was close. Um, and I'll get to it later, but uh, there was good numbers for favourites and overs. So I feel like I missed opportunity. I feel like there was a bet there. Especially, I'll talk about this quickly. Is I don't know if anybody saw on Sunday that all four Premier League games were over 2.5, all both teams to score, and all four favourites won. So, uh, if you'd a couple of pound on result, uh, plus both teams to score on the favourites, you'd have done all right. I actually did have a friend who had, I think, West Ham and Palace result, both teams to score, and then he had Lorient in France. He had a tenner on it and paid 900 quid. So there was a bet out there this weekend, and that's where the frustration comes in that, I was close. And I'll get this in a minute about other teams I fancied and stuff that I didn't put in that ended up winning. But anyway, let's look at last week's main bet. So Newcastle won, Ipswich won, Ebbsfleet won, Atletico Madrid won, and Norwich get beat 3-2 by Preston. They went behind, no, they were 1-0 up, I think, and then they went 2-1 down, back to two each, and then conceded almost straight away. So, say frustrating. Norwich been in good form. Preston are in decent form, and they don't concede many goals. So when it went to two each, you know, I kind of thought it's either going to end two each or they'll get beat, but I didn't expect Norwich to score again. But yeah, it just wasn't great. Now, on the overs bet, this is probably the worst overs bet I've picked all season because I only had one game up. And the funny thing about it was it's also the lowest odds of any overs bet I've done this year. It was only about eight or 9 to 1. Or sorry, no, it was a bit more than that. It was I can't even now. Let me double check. I have it wrote down here. What was it last week? It was about 16 or 17 to 1. So usually they're about over 20 to 1. But it just goes to show you, short prices don't always exactly mean that it's got a chance. Um, so that was terrible. So Brighton Spurs was beat. West Brom Luton beat. Peterborough Burton beat. Forest Green Bolton beat. And then the only one that was up was Sheffield Wednesday Cheltenham. So that was Saturday. The evening bet I did. Copenhagen drew. PSG did -1. They drew. I had both teams to score in the Bayern Dortmund game that was up. I had Real Madrid. I had Young Boys. So 3-3 basically in that one. But again, not really close. Sunday, the bet was Liverpool. Look, I took a gamble on that because I thought Liverpool, even though they haven't been in great form and Arsenal have, Liverpool usually have a good record against Arsenal no matter what way because Arsenal play a bit of football. I thought that might have played into Liverpool's hands. I didn't think they would sit back and, sort of frustrate Liverpool as a lot of teams have done this season. And to be fair to them, they didn't sit back, but Liverpool's defending was so shocking that uh, Arsenal were able to get the result, even though there was some dodgy decisions in that game. The penalty against Liverpool, the fact that they may have had a penalty, the fact that, and I don't know if anybody's seen this, the first goal, Saka was offside, or looked at least to be offside, but they couldn't see it on the VAR camera. I mean, there's 8 cameras, 9 cameras around watching VAR, and somebody's not in shot. I mean, it's let's face it, VAR uh, hasn't done what it said. I remember a few years ago before VAR came out, people were saying that it's going to allow more goals. There'll be less goals disallowed for poor decisions. I think we'll have to sort of be honest and say that maybe the linesmen were better than we thought, and they were getting a lot of those calls right, those sort of tight offsides. Um, because now ones that you would have looked at and you look at and you say, well, that's on, he's level. They're coming in, they're ruling them out. For small things. Um, so look, I said this a while ago. I don't know if I said it on here, but I definitely said it on my own personal Twitter that I think with VAR they should be taking the lines out of it, and they should just have a freeze frame, and if it looks offside, it's offside. If it doesn't look offside, it's not. Simple as. I don't think most people would complain about that. I've seen before the BT do a thing where when they freeze it, they sort of do like a 3D image where they sort of change the angle to make it straight because maybe the camera's behind the person. The camera swooshes around and then you get to have that look right across the line. So I don't see why they couldn't do something like that rather than the lines. But yeah, so that bet was, say, Liverpool were beat, West Ham won, Rennes won, Napoli won, plus scored over 2 goals, and Viking and Lillestrøm game was over twos. So again, frustration. One game beats it. I did an £8 or £9, I think it was, over 1.5. Five were up, three were 1-0. The frustration with that one was that I fancied three of the French games, the earlier ones, and I didn't pick them. Now whether that would have been the same three teams that could beat, it's hard to say. But sorry, just with the Sunday bet as well, in the Liverpool was the last selection I made because obviously it was a kind of pick 'em game, and I fancied Nice at 4-5, didn't put them in. I fancied Monaco, who were around 3-4, 4-5. I didn't put them in. And then both of them obviously end up winning, and uh, Liverpool were beat. So that's where the frustration comes in. But I've said this before, I'd rather be knocking on the door than getting blew out of the water. It's very frustrating when you pick 4-5 up, 3, 4, 5 times in a row, and you're kicking yourself about that one game. But I'd much rather that than, to be picking five and getting one right like I did with the overs. That's you're nowhere near with that. So at least they're, sort of knocking on the door. But anyway, let's look at the favourites in the overs. I'll start with the overs again this week. So 10 Premier League games the weekend, eight of them were over 2.5. That's amazing. And only two weren't. Championship, 12 games, eight again over 2.5, four not. The rest of these games these leagues are all 12. So 6 and 6 in League One, 6 over, 6 not. In League Two, only 4 over. And League Two is looking like there's not a lot of goals in it. So 4 over and 8 not. And then National League 6 and 6. So in total, that was 32 out of 58. 32 yes and 28 no, which was 55%. So it's on the decent side. I always say I like it about 60, but 55% is pretty good. With the favourites, so 10 in the Premier League, 7 favourites, 1 draw, 2 outsiders. The rest of these leagues are all 12 games. So Championship, 7 favourites, which is massive for the Championship. 1 draw and 3 outsiders, or 4 outsiders, sorry. That's very big for the Championship. League One, only 5 favourites, 3 draws, 4 outsiders. League Two, 8 favourites, 2 draws, 2 outsiders. National League, 5 favourites, 5 draws, huge amount of draws in the National League, and 2 outsiders. So again, the numbers are exactly the same. Well, as far as favourites, 32 favourites, 12 draws, 14 outsiders out of 58 games. That's 55%. So yeah, it's when you have high percentages like that, you do feel a bit, as I said before, frustrated about not getting the bet up because it feels like there was a bet out there, but just not for me. Right, getting on to this week, let's have a look. So I have 2 bets as normal. Bit of a higher odds on both bets this week. I've kind of just thought, fuck it, if I fancy it, I'm going for it. Very, very spread out this week, all over the leagues. So first team is Sheffield United. Sheffield United are at home to Blackpool. Currently top of the league, Sheffield United. Blackpool in 19th. Sheffield United's form not great. They've only got 7 points out of a possible 15, but Blackpool only have 4 points in the same time. Sheffield United's home record pretty good. 6 home games, they've got 13 points. Blackpool's away record just sort of mid-table. Lost five. Sheffield United have actually lost their last 2 games. One at home against QPR and one away against Stoke. But when you look at their home form, they've 3 wins, a draw, and a defeat. That defeat being the last home game they had. So hopefully they're going to bounce back from that. Blackpool's away form, only 1 win, 2 draws, 2 defeats in the last 5. Price on that is 11 to 20, which is 1.55. Next, we have Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are away to Cambridge. Currently, Sheffield Wednesday sitting third in the league. Cambridge in 14th. In form, Sheffield Wednesday are third, and Cambridge are bottom, only 3 points. Away from home, Sheffield Wednesday have the second best away record in the league, 12 points from 6 games. Cambridge, a decent home record, 12 points. They're ninth in the home table. But when looking at the last 5, Cambridge have lost their last 3 in a row. They won the 2 before that. And Sheffield Wednesday have 3 wins and 2 defeats in the last 5 in total. But Cambridge's home form, 3 defeats, including the last 2, and 2 wins. Sheffield Wednesday away from home, 3 wins, 2 defeats. They lost their last away game against Plymouth, who are sitting top of the league. So that's a tough game. Price on that one is 7 to 10, which is 1.7. Next, that the team I was just talking about who beat Sheffield Wednesday, which is Plymouth. Plymouth are away to MK Dons, and as I said, they are currently Plymouth sitting top of the league by a point. MK Dons in the relegation zone. Form 13 points out of 15, sitting top. MK Dons only 3 points away from home. Their away form's not. That's good. They're fifth in the away table, but their away form's not. There's 4 teams better than them in the league, including Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth, Barnsley. But MK Dons' home record is 22nd. They've only got 4 points at home all season. In the last 5, MK Dons 3 defeats, including 2 in a row, and 2 wins. Plymouth have won 5 in a row. Away from home, Plymouth have 4 wins and a draw in the last 5, and at home, MK Dons have 1 win, which was in the League Cup, or not the League Cup, what do you call that? The EFL Trophy, where they beat West Ham under 21s, and they've lost their other 4 home games in that time. So price on that one is 23 to 20, which I think is a huge price, which is 2.15 in decimal. Next, we're off to Scotland, and it's Dumbarton at home to Albion Rovers. Currently, Dumbarton sitting top of the league. Albion Rovers are 9th in the table. It's a 10-team league. In the form, Dumbarton 4th in form, only 7 points out of 15. Albion Rovers only 4, but Dumbarton have the best home form. They've won all 4 home games at home this year. Albion 4 points away from home. So as I say, Dumbarton won those last 4 home games, but they have got 2 defeats, a draw, and 2 wins only in the last 5 at home. Albion Rovers 3 defeats, including 2 in a row, the last 2, a draw, and a win in the last 5 away from home. So just think home form will come out there. Dumbarton get themselves back on track after a few dodgy results. Price on that one 4 to 7, which is 1.57. Lastly, we're in France. It's a team I've also mentioned, a team who've made a great start to the season. They're second in the French league, and that's Lorient. Lorient are at home to Reims, and as I say, they're second in the league. Reims 15th. Form, Lorient second, 15 points out of a possible 15 in the last 5. Reims only 3 points. Lorient have a decent home record, 5th best. They've won all 4. They've played 4 at home and they've won them all. Reims only 5 points away from home. And in the last 5, as I say, Lorient have won all 5. They've played 4 home games this season, win them all. So that's promising. Ream's away record is 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 defeats in the last 5. So not the best away record there. The price on that altogether is 19 to 1. It's paying £200 for a tenner. So pretty big odds this week. I maybe could have left one out, maybe left the 4 to 7 out or whatever, or left any one of them out. It still would have paid decent. But look, that's what I fancied. That's what I'm going for. You know, if I get a win, it'll be a big win. So that's the main bet. Now on to the overs. I'll just run through these quickly. Exeter, Oxford. Sorry, I didn't give the price on Lorient, did it? It was 5 to 4, which is 2.25. Pretty good price too there. So yes, with the overs, so Exeter, Oxford evens 2.0. Fulham, Bournemouth 9 to 10, 1.9. Watford, Norwich evens 2.0. Dundee versus Ayr 9 to 10, 1.9. And Annan Athletic versus Stranraer 9 to 10, 1.9. That works out at around 26 to 1. So decent returns on that one as well compared to last week. So yeah, that is the bets. Looking ahead to the week after, there's a Premier League fixture list and there's a Championship as well, but I'll just go through them. So there's 2 games on Tuesday night in the Premier League, 6 Championship games. There's 27 EFL Trophy games. There's 8 German Cup. There's 2 Italian Cup. There's 10 Dutch Cup. There's a Northern Ireland Premier League game, Scottish Championship. There's 2 in Scottish League 1. There's 1 game in the Scottish League Cup. And there's also 3 games in the La Liga. So very scattergun there. It's mixed. There's not the full fixtures in English. It's sort of just the Premier League and Championship, and then some cup games and other European leagues. Wednesday, there's 6 Premier League games. Again, 6 in the Championship, 8 German Cup, 10 Dutch Cup, Scottish Championship 1, Scottish League Cup 3, and 4 in La Liga. And then Thursday, 2 Premier League, 1 Europa League game. Arsenal play for some reason next week in the Europa League. 3 Italian Cup and 3 in La Liga. So I say a pretty scattered week. There's no huge fixture list, but there's games everywhere, small amount of games everywhere. So enough for a few bets. And so yeah, that's it. So it just leaves me to say, if you are doing a bet this weekend, good luck and happy punting.
Here, get the fuck out of here. Here, thanks. Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you.